Hello, welcome to another episode of Ringo Rama. Today we are with Andy Nicholes from the podcast Two Legs, and also, didn't you do a show with Ethan Alexanian a while ago?
Did a show about a year or so ago with Ethan, which is on ice, but hopefully we'll pick up again. It was called Anything But the Beatles, but as you well know, Lucas, you know, life has a way of interjecting and things got to go on
Yeah.
hold. So that's on ice. But yeah. But I started my other own little sub channel outside of Two Legs called The Other Leg, Andy's Music Vault, to talk about everything else but the Beatles and solo stuff. So I did that about a month ago, and I've done 2 episodes so far.
So today we'll be talking about Ringo's 1981 album, Stop and Smell the Roses. He's got the vinyl, I've got the CD.
Yes, you do.
His first record after Bad Boy, and he had some health issues. His house burned down. He had some hard times.
Yes, he did. The late 70s there, before he met Barbara Bach, obviously, was a little bit of a dark period there for Ringo, coming out of that kind of early to mid 70s commercial zenith that he was on, really on par with Paul and George and John coming out of the gate there in the 70s. And by the late 70s, with those offerings, and
He
I
was
give you some,
like 150 each album.
do they really?
Yeah, I think they were right on the edge of the Billboard 200. Those albums.
Yeah, Bad Boy, Ringo the Fourth. I think
Enough of them with the vinyls, with the colored vinyl. Everybody's buying them up.
right. Did you get them?
I got the Bad Boy colored vinyl, the one that was swirl, but I haven't bought into Ringo the Fourth yet.
Oh, now how do you say the other one? Rotogravure or retro? How do you say that?
I've got that on CD. I've got that on vinyl.
Now that's a pretty good album
That's a
too.
new record.
That actually has gotten better with age, I must say. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah.
But Bad Boy, and obviously this is your second season of Ringo, and you're doing the 80s albums, and you're kicking it off with arguably, I think, after self-titled or Goodnight, Vienna or Rotogravure, it's probably my second go-to Ringo album is this one. Absolutely, no questions about it.
It's definitely one of the best from the period before the comeback era.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, originally it was going to be called Can't Fight Lightning, right?
Yeah. And it had a whole different track listing, which we'll get to after we discuss the regular stuff. But that cover, I think it's a neat cover. I think it's better than the Stop Smell the Roses cover.
Yeah, you like that one better than the original? So you like the original artwork for Can't Fight Lightning? No, this is so cheesy. It's good though,
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but we don't even have the original artwork for Can't Fight Lightning. It doesn't.
No,
we have the photo, but we don't have anything else.
No, we don't. And obviously, it's the album that really, other than the self-titled album '73, was the one that had the most ex-Beatle involvement. Obviously,
all the other, I mean, Paul and George are on this one. John isn't, of course.
Sure, it's the first one after his passing, and it's like kind of with
to be on it. They were planning for that.
Somewhere in England also being. Yeah, obviously this record was gonna. I think John was even kicking around Nobody Told Me before he passed, and giving it to Ringo before he did it himself. Obviously I think it was done in November of 1980, but he was gonna. That was in contention, I think, to be on Stop and Smell the Roses as well for a while.
Take that is on Milk and Honey is actually the demo for Ringo.
Right.
That's a rehearsal.
Right. Well, maybe the anthology, not the one on Milk and Honey. That's the finished master.
Oh, I thought. He recorded it for Ringo.
He did. Well, that song has a lot of. It started actually out as Everybody, and then it became Nobody Told Me. And if you listen to any of the Lost Lennon tapes, you can hear that song evolve from Everybody to Everybody's Talking to and then it was called Nobody Told Me. And then in one of those takes, you hear him say, "This one's got to be for Ringo," in one of those demo versions. And then by which time these sessions had came and gone, and he decided to do it for himself. So, but I think Nobody Told Me would have been a good song for Ringo.
He was also going to do, I believe, Life Begins at 40, which I think it's a John Lennon song with a very interesting, convoluted history, that song.
Absolutely is.
It would seem like it was going to get recorded, but then it wasn't. It was going to get released, but then it wasn't, and then it keeps going back and forth.
Yeah. So tell me, so because I mean, you obviously are the Ringo aficionado. Why did the album change names from Can't Fight Lightning to Stop and Smell the Roses?
Well, he submitted to the record company 3 times. The first time, they didn't like the title. They didn't like the song "Can't Fight Lightning" because it's 6 minutes. It's a bit of a lumbering
It
tune.
is. Yeah, and I listened to it the other day to get ready for this show today, and I could see why that song did not make the final track listing, let alone the name of the album.
And then once you cut the title track, there's no reason to have that title anymore.
No, no. A lot of that original track listing, and I have a copy of Eight Arms to Hold You right in front of me. So
Yeah, I've
I
got
have
the
the.
file right here. That's what I used.
Oh, you use the Eight Arms file?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Whenever I'm
Private.
researching a show, like there was some song for this called there was some song they're working on for Stop and Smell the Roses that like didn't get far. It was called like You Told Me Something. It was like that. And that's
Yeah,
the only outtake that isn't released.
yeah. Private Property, Rack My. I mean, the songs that did not make it on obviously was Can't Fight Lightning. What else was in that original track listing that did not make the cut?
I've got the list right here. Okay,
Yeah.
so it starts with Attention, Private Property, You Got a Nice Way, Wake Up, Can't Fight Lightning, Rack My Brain, Dead Giveaway, Brandy, You Belong to Me, and Stop Smell the Roses.
Right. So yeah,
In song list right there.
there. Yeah, that's the original. And so the original album opened up with one of I think Ringo's best songs because Paul wrote it. Attention. That would have been a nice opener, but I mean,
Would have been a nice opener. So the outtake is called "Don't Blame It on Me." It's unfinished. It's never gonna come out.
oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's from I believe It's from the Stephen Stills sessions.
Oh,
The
did
Ronnie
you
Wood. It's the Ronnie Wood sessions actually.
yeah, the Ron Wood, because Ron Wood obviously was all part of this as
Yeah.
well.
Lots of bars on this.
Yeah, sessions go from July of '80 to February of '81, so obviously it evolved and changed over those, few months there. But I got to say, did you hear the recent demo tape of Paul doing
Yeah, they
Attention?
leaked that little 20-second snatch of the track. I thought it was interesting.
Very interesting. I loved hearing that. I'm like, give me more of that. I want to hear more of Attention by Paul.
I'm sure more tapes will come out. We got Angel in Disguise. We got a little snatch of that last year. I'm sure more tapes will come out.
I need you to settle a question, and that I've had with Ken Michaels about this. He didn't know, and maybe you are aware of it. I have two versions of Attention: the one on the album, and then an extended cut that has another verse. Have you heard that, and are you aware of it?
Okay, I think I had a photo of a bootleg here with a track listing. Actually,
Because the version I have a version of it that runs like almost 5 minutes that has an extra verse.
are you talking about Private Property?
No, Attention.
There's a Private Property edit that's 5 minutes long.
Really? I'll send you the file. I have it.
I have a set of all the songs that they worked on for Stop and Smell the Roses. I have a file. I'm just going through my Mega right now, actually.
Right. So the Attention as properly cut on the album was 319, but I have a version of it that's 429. And Ken Michaels did not know about this either. Has an extra verse. I'll send you it. For sure.
There's a lot of different edits of these tracks. I know, like,
yeah.
There's the 5-minute Private Property, which is very well
right.
known. Stop and Smell the Roses, the original vocal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, coming out, I think really commercially it does very well because it's you got two. It opens up with two really great tracks with Private Property and Rack My Brain. I mean, you can't do better than a 1-2 punch than those two tracks.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if Band on the Run had opened like Band on the Run, if it had gone through all the big singles right at the beginning of Band on the Run, I would have said that would have been better. But
right. Yeah, I think obviously Private Property is McCartney, Rack My Brain is George. So obviously the lyrical assistance here for Ringo helps him on this album, but that's okay because he does a good job singing these songs. The only thing I'm really not too crazy about on this album is the cover of "Sure to Fall." I don't think that was. I don't know why he chose to cover that. That's an old Beatles number. that they did from the Cavern days and
Yeah,
on
the
radio
BBC.
and the BBC. And Paul carried that one live and did a great job. Ringo on this, not so much.
Yeah, they could have chose Red and Black Blues in that spot, even.
Yeah. I think You Belong to Me is a great track.
Yeah.
I love,
Into the track by track.
yeah, let's go to the track by track. Go for it.
So starting off, we have Private Property, co-produced by Paul McCartney, written by Paul McCartney. This is Wings, right?
Yes. This is Wings 1980, which, and I'm sure Lawrence Stuber was still present on this one as well.
Oh, yeah, I interviewed him. When I interviewed him, he was talking to me about these sessions.
And what did he have to say?
Well, he was like saying that it was like it was nice to see Ringo, and he really enjoyed like the record. It was nice to play a whole bunch of acoustic guitar on those records and stuff, and
very brassy, Wingsy beginning on this song.
Yeah, that could have just opened like a song on London Town or Back to the Egg, that type of, maybe not London Town,
but definitely Back to the Egg, or maybe the next Wings album that never was to be after Back to the Egg.
That would have been a strange album. It would have been like No Values and like
No Values, Average
Dancing.
Yeah, Ballroom Dancing, Average Person, all those songs that they were working into Private Property.
Take It Away.
Take It Away. Yeah.
A Wings version of Take It Away, I wouldn't have taken that. You've heard like it's like 40 minutes on the Puggins Hall bootlegs. It's just and then
just
it's like
rehearsing the hell out of like Ballroom Dancing, Average Person, Keep Undercover, all these songs, that all around 1980.
Tug of War, Pipes of Peace.
Right, and Private Property was right in the middle of all this stuff, but I think it suits Ringo's voice better.
Yeah,
it's a good track. It has, and I don't know, I without not looking it up, the horns almost sound like it's like very almost George Harrison, like 33 and a third esque, like with Tom Scott.
It's like what was that? His cover of Cracker Box Palace.
Yes.
Say what was the other this song?
This song. Yeah. It sounds like the horns in this song, which I don't know. Without looking at the credits, I mean, I don't know if Tom Scott was on this record, but it certainly sounds like it was. I just unsealed this sucker for the first. I had it sealed for about 20 years, and I opened it up. Let's see, Private Property.
Okay.
So it's the Wings.
Howie Casey.
It's the way. It's right Howie there. Casey, the old Wings. See, Howie Casey on the horns. Okay, so very similar to George Harrison with this song on this track, though. Very similar. Background vocals, yeah, as well. Peter Henderson, of course. He's done a lot of work with the Beatles as well. Good opener. Very good opener.
Think about these Paul sessions. It almost echoes what Paul and Ringo were doing in the late 90s, where Paul helped out Ringo and then Ringo helped out Paul on his next album. It was kind of that.
Yeah, with like Flaming Pie and then Vertical Man.
The interchangeable sessions there.
Yeah. I'd like to think that maybe this was a little more successful. I mean, I know Paul's contributions are very good on Vertical Man, but I think they're a little bit better on his contributions to.
Yeah, he wrote free songs. I mean, he wrote 2 songs. He wrote free songs for this album. Wouldn't Camp Out Lighting a Ringo Starr composition?
Yes.
Okay, he wrote 2 songs and produced 4. I mean.
Right. So he's over this.
Producing hand in Vertical Man. That's all Mark Hudson.
That's all. Yeah. By that time, Ringo's firmly ensconced in the Mark Hudson period there of his career. I can't believe. So let's move on to track 2, "Rack My Brain." I cannot believe.
Go right there. That's a great song.
I love "Rack My Brain." That actually almost could have opened the album because it just starts boom, "Rack My Brain." It would have been perfect.
I would have taken that on. This is like Somewhere in England. It's got that George's electronic backing vocals. It's great.
Yeah, you hear that ELO type Jeff Lynne, "Rack My Brain" towards the end, when it closes it out, almost like Mr. Blue Sky. Very ELO-ish there at the end. Yeah. Even though Jeff Lynne wasn't really in the picture yet, it's got that ELO type quality to it with the, and I guess it's the vocoder that's being used on this track, right?
That's why it was such an obvious choice for George to record Cloud 9 with.
Of course, because the way echoes of his next album obviously was Contrappo and Wake Up My Love and all that, which is, I know you're probably not a fan of that record, right?
I mean, have you heard I Really Love You off of that record?
Yes.
Nice. That's a nice tune right there. Some nice stuff.
There's a couple of nice tracks on that. But on the whole, it's
definitely a contractual record.
No doubt. But this Rack My Brain, I mean, just how cool is it of George to...
It's just George Harrison and Ringo Starr having fun.
But George always went out of his way to take care of Ringo when he really needed it. Paul did too, but, isn't like Photograph really just credited to Ringo Starr, but George wrote it?
Don't Come Easy. I mean, George had a hand in that.
Right. So George really took care of his buddy. I mean, I know they all did. John and Paul did.
The new Get Back. I think there's video in there of George Harrison and Ringo Starr. They were working out Octopus Garden together.
Right. So those two, man, they had a bond that, that was not so unique to them because obviously John and Paul's was so strong. So George was going to go out of his way to take care of his buddy when he really needed to. And if that meant giving Ringo like full copyright and songwriting credit on a song George did, that was just George being a good guy, and that's just so cool. I mean, obviously Rack My Brain, George gets the credit, but it's such a catchy song. I love that it's included on the Photograph compilation. Really, it's that and that still is a nice compilation.
Ringo Greatest Hits album. I feel like the Photograph compilation's nice, but it needs like a 2 CD. Ringo.
It needs a 2 CD, but at the time that came out, and I want to say that came out in 2008, right after Liverpool 8 or around Liverpool 8.
Before Liverpool 8, it was right when Ringo had axed Mark Hudson, and his album quality just went down just that notch.
Mm-hmm. But Rack My Brain, in the context of a Greatest Hits Essential, it really stands out as a really good song. Because if you didn't really know it, and you were not really a big Ringo fan, it was a decent song, but you had to be a really hardcore Beatle fan or solo person to know Rack My Brain. I mean, I don't know. Do you know how it did as a single off the top of your head there?
It was a top 40 hit. I'm going to guess 38. All right. And I'm going to check the charts right here.
We'll check them.
It's probably in the booklet of the CD.
Probably. So it doesn't, of course, Chip and Mark don't have
chart data.
They don't have the chart.
Number 38.
So it was a top 40. Top 40 single, which, you had to be pretty listening, but in the context of a
top 40 ever.
What's that?
Ringo's top 40.
His last one ever. So I think it works very well, and I just love it on that Photograph compilation because it gets the attention, pun intended, that it needs on a compilation. And you're so right. We do need at least a George and Ringo compilations they've been mishmashed, and really Paul for that matter too. I know we got Pure McCartney, but
that's
George
not really a Greatest Hits. Pure McCartney's it's like a listening thing. It's like he said it was his car road song collection.
Right, but George and Ringo, especially Ringo, really need a 2 CD, compilation of everything from, everything from Sentimental Journey to his most recent. That's what we need. Now we're talking 50 plus odd years. That is a point Ken Michaels, our colleague, always brings up. There's so much material to go through with the solo Beatles, Ringo especially, and the quality is still there. So, Rack My Brain, easily one of the best.
You can almost argue that Paul doesn't even have a concise, great, only the hits collection. I mean, you have Wingspan, but that's not.
I think the closest Paul compilation that gets it right is All the Best.
That's my favorite. I got introduced to Paul.
U.S. or U.K.?
U.S. Sea Moon. That's nice to have that on a Greatest Hits album.
That was the one that hooked you?
Yeah.
It's funny. That was my introduction as well. Back when it came out, they got it on cassette, and that's the perfect compilation that has some Wings and the big solo hits. And for 17 tracks, whatever it was. Now the UK version is also.
It's all fun either side of the pond there.
Yeah, you've got Pipes of Peace on that. You've got
Amazed, I believe, on the UK version.
Maybe I'm amazed. Let me just take a look at the UK, which I happen to have right here. Yeah. No. Maybe I'm Amazed is not on the UK.
Oh.
It is not. Mull of Kintyre is, Once Upon a Long Ago is, and We All Stand Together. And the studio version of Coming Up.
Yeah. The studio version is definitely better. Like the UK version and the US version, they're like, each one has strengths and weaknesses over the other one.
Right. They no Uncle Albert on the UK, but it's on the US, you see? So I thought maybe I'm Amazed was on the UK. It's not. But yeah, in terms of the compilations, I think obviously Paul's All the Best is the best one, but they're all lacking. Maybe John's got so many. You know,
I mean, you could choose from. He's got like a 4 CD one that came out like a decade ago called "Give Me Some Truth." He's got the modern "Give Me Some Truth," the Lennon Legend, the John Lennon Collection.
The John Lennon Collection, yeah. The initial "Give Me Some Truth" campaign from 10 years ago. I mean, you can go back to 1990 and go back to
a People Hits compilation that nobody remembers.
Yeah, Power to the People. That was a hits compilation. You can go back to a 4 CD compilation from 1990 called Lennon. It was just a box set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there. It's somewhere.
Like it's a themed set, that one.
Yeah, it's up there. There it is.
Yeah, right next to the George Harrison Dark Horse box.
Yeah, it's up there. So, yeah, Lennon has so many compilations to pick from. And Paul, George, and Ringo are like...
Starbucks, too. There's like a lot of John Lennon.
Yeah, tons. So there's... But
Paul's got a few. George has only got the free.
Yeah.
The best of those, I'd say, is the Dark Horse.
That's the Dark Horse, which did, yeah. What's that?
Because it has it's not filled out by the Beatles tracks.
No, and it picks up everything from 76 on, so there's nothing on there from all things past.
New music all the time.
No, and that's really nice because again, he threw some new songs on it. Poor Little Girl, Cheer Down. You know, there was some incentive to get that. There was some incentive to get that compilation.
I believe, like from the sessions for like a Cloud 9 follow-up they didn't make or whatever. I believe.
Yeah, and then of course George most recently. I mean, Let It Roll. When did that come out?
2009.
2009, and that's okay, but not what it should be.
You still have the live Beatles tracks in there from Bangladesh. It's nice to have Bangladesh material, but
right. And then let's talk Ringo compilations, studio and live. Obviously, Blast from Your Past in '75.
I'm gonna grab my copy of Ringo's live compilation for a second here.
Yeah, grab it.
I've got a lot of Ringo CDs. Look, I got too much of these, but
let's see them. Let's see them.
Here.
Is that the anthology so far?
It's from the Netherlands. It's the Netherlands reissue.
Oh, okay. And that's a live, right?
It's a live. The funny thing about this, I got this from the Netherlands. It took 3 months to come here. So much that eBay thought it was just gone, and they refunded me.
So you got it for free.
And this is worth something because it's a Netherlands import of a Ringo Starr Greatest Hits album.
How many discs? 3?
It's 3 discs, and it's got the nice the double gatefold here with the little book, and it's a nice box set.
Very cool, brother.
I mean, for a box set, that's nice.
Right. What else you got there? Live compilations. While we're on this compilation,
I have the other Ringo compilations. I've got some studio releases, some promo CDs. A lot of copies of Vertical Man stuff for some reason.
That record was everywhere in the summer of '98. You couldn't get away from it. It was in every store. Barnes and Nobles, The Wiz, Sam Goody. I'm naming record stores because I'm showing my age here.
I got one hanging up in my music area, but this is another copy I have.
Yeah, I mean the promotion for that record was off the charts. La Di Da, yeah, all that. That's a CD single. It looks like.
Yeah, this is the bonus. This is the bonus CD from Best Buy. This was hard to get a hold of.
I bet. Yep, that's cool.
I think it was only 7,500 made of those.
Yeah, not too many. What else you got?
I mean, for Vertical Man, that's about it. But I've got a lot of these Ringo things.
Yeah, but Blast from Your Past, 75, and then nothing.
Truck.
Yeah.
I saw a copy of that once in a record store. I've never seen it ever again.
I've never seen it.
You get old wave tracks. I mean, that's enough incentive.
Yeah. And then of course Photograph, which was 2008. And
nice
can I just
on that one?
What's that?
Nice choices on that one, but it's still
It's not complete. It's not complete. And can I just say, why couldn't have Ringo? I mean, you've got that CD, the Right Stuff edition of Stop and Smell the Roses that you told me you got on eBay, which was a great score. And that pressing came out in 1994, right? So
on a Ringo CD that are unreleased. Surprising, right?
Right. So, but I mean, why couldn't have just? I mean, in any time in the 2000s, they couldn't have put that out on CD again. I mean, that's a shame. I have been looking for that for years.
You could have put out Old Wave again. I mean, there's nothing you can do really with Old Wave because the master tapes are kind of stolen and destroyed, some of them.
Yeah. And was that even put on CD?
Yeah, it was on CD. It had one bonus track, which was the original, as far as we can go, from '78.
Oh, see, that's the best song on that record, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great vocal from Ringo, one of his best.
Oh, soulful. Excuse me. Well, I love that track. Yeah. You want to continue with Stop and Smell the Roses?
Yeah. Oh, also,
Drumming?
one last thing about this. These
Go ahead.
Ringo CDs. No, I always get the ones with the punch. I feel like I'm always getting these. Nobody buys these Ringo CDs, so they're always coming to me with the punch, which basically like
promo CDs, yeah.
Not just promo, but like sometimes cutout bins.
The cutout bin with the little thing on it, yeah.
A little notch in the side.
The little notch saying, "Hey, this is the cheap CD."
I did a joke. It was like, my copy of Change the World already came with the cutout.
It's amazing the market for the used CDs now. You can go to virtually any record store now, and you can probably
price. Like these type of things used to be like $5. Now it's like you're going for $7 now.
They are going up a little bit, right?
Just
yeah.
I'm sure they'll come back soon.
They probably will, because I mean, you go to record stores now, and there's people are, but supply and demand. People want them. Can you still buy a CD player? That's so. I mean, obviously we all do, but there's always been a plethora of Ringo titles in the used bins that I've always saw, and always a lot of the titles from the '90s. Like I remember seeing tons of Vertical Mans, a ton of Why Not. I remember like in the last 10 years, those are the ones that a lot of Ringo Rama
sold pretty well, which was kind of surprising because it seems like it's a very out in the randomness Ringo album, but it sold quite well.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not realize until today that Drumming Is My Madness was written by one of my favorites, Harry Nilsson.
Harry Nilsson. Right here, I just happen to have the Harry Nilsson book.
Alan Shipton.
Yeah.
You read it yet?
I've got all of his records except for Flash Harry and the one that didn't come out, that came out in '66.
I went on a Harry Nilsson binge a couple of years ago, and I'm still in it. You can get his box set on Amazon for like $50.
Negative, $50 for $-.
Yeah, there. I got that over.
See, I'm always grabbing stuff.
You got to put it in a spot where you can get it, Lucas, or you can show it.
This stuff's all in the other room, right here. It was like $50. And
$50. That is one of the
CDs. Nice booklet.
That is one of the best buys on Amazon anybody can get. I've told my co-host partner this, Tom Hunyadi. I said you gotta get the Harry Nilsson box set.
The whole catalog, pretty much, except for the one that came out a few years ago.
And you don't get Son of Dracula on there.
Yeah, but you get the one song that matters from Son of Dracula.
You do that. Now I got that on vinyl about a year ago. That was a great score, getting Son of Dracula.
Oh yeah,
Harry and Ringo
vinyl with the bat wings gatefold.
Yes. Yeah, but Harry Nilsson, I did not realize he wrote "Drumming Is My Madness." I did not realize he wrote that song. Very typical Ringo vocal, though, right?
It's a very Ringo. I could see this on a Mark Hudson album because it's like Ringo talking about, his stuff.
It's like plodding along, typical Ringo. This sounds like it could be on a later Ringo album, right?
That could have been on. I could see this on Ringo Rama on Choose Love. He's got that song "Give Me Back the Beat" on Choose Love, just about his drums.
Hey, just a heads up. Looks like you have about 9 minutes left on your Zoom call here.
I didn't know that they took out the Zoom limit meeting. We'll have to do a part 2 right now.
Yeah.
Drumming Is My Madness. What do you think about it?
Typical Ringo song. Again, didn't realize that it was written by Harry. But look at the credits here. The arranger. Look at your notes. Van Dyke Parks, you Beach Boys fans. The Van Dyke Parks, who was the co-writer of Smile.
I got a huge Beach Boys mess. I mean,
Van Dyke Parks, the arranger on "Drumming Is My Madness."
Smile right here.
Smile, baby.
Got all the Beach Boys stuff.
Hey, expanded Sounds of Summer edition coming out this
summer.
Summer.
I'm getting ready for it.
The Van Dyke Park's involved with this too.
Yeah.
So yeah, typical song, typical Ringo song. Who's on this? Let's see, Jim Gordon. You Beatle fans have read his name before.
Oh, of course. Comparison credits right there.
Yeah, Jim Keltner, of course, on everything. Typical Ringo song. Typical Ringo song. And then we jump to my favorite one. My favorite one.
This could have been a single right here. It's a great song. It's a quintessential Paul McCartney early 80s tune.
Would not have been out of place on Tug of War.
Pipes of Peace. I would have said Pipes of Peace.
Yeah, maybe Pipes of Peace. Let's chuck out Hey Hey or Tug of Peace and throw attention on there.
They could have thrown Ode to a Koala Bear on Pipes of Peace. They could have. Not twice in a lifetime. That always gets bundled with the Pipes of Peace too.
It does, but yeah, you're right, brother. I'm with you. I love the piano. I love the piano in this song. It just kind of, I love the echo on Ringo's voice on here a little bit. Just the production of the song Attention, the melody, the structure, everything about it is Hallmark McCartney, which is why it's my favorite song. It kind of lilts and goes back into the choruses, come on, baby, give it all you've got, get into the power of the plot. You could so hear Paul singing that, but Ringo does it justice. He really does. And it is such an awesome Ringo song. And if I had to make a top 10 Ringo list of songs, this is in the top 3, hands down.
I had to make a top 10 Ringo list of songs that get dominated by tunes from these 3 records.
What do you got? Vertical. Oh, Time Takes Time and Ringo Rama.
Promo. This is whether it's a record club issue or whatever. It was like $- so it was an easy grab. Most of this Ringo stuff, but then when you try to get a Rotogravure, it's like takes forever and super expensive for no reason.
Yeah, interesting on the credits here for Attention. It says Lawrence Tuber guitars. Does yours have that? That's a typo. That is a typo, folks. That is a typo. I don't know if I can show it. I don't know if it can come up here, but it says Lawrence Tuber. Hold on, let me put up.
See Attention. People were Ringo super fans who wrote these liner notes. They have like the maraca player on.
Let's see. Lauren, there it is, folks.
Yeah,
Lawrence Tuber.
Lawrence Tuber, my favorite Wings member.
Yeah, but again, Howie Casey.
Tuber the egg.
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, Wings, Ringo, Lawrence Tuber, Howie Casey. This is all that early 80s. It's Wings. It's Wings. So I absolutely love Attention. I'm going to send you that longer cut of it that I have after we're done today. So you can hear that. Yeah, I'm going to send you that. I will send you that. Does that close out side 1 on the record? I forget.
No, I believe
it does not.
One more track, and then I think we're going to
title track
off for part 2. Title track.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
All the Roses. Harry Nilsson. Great writing composition here with Ringo. I believe it's a co-write. Nice.
Yes.
Work. Have you heard the original cut of this?
I have not.
So I have to leave the notes right here. So it says, just paraphrasing from the liner notes. So the line about the Rolls Royce was, "Stop when you're in your Ford Cortina. You know it's accident prone. Nobody likes you. Talk to a man who rolls. He knows how to live." But they changed it. So they cut out like, "Stop, you know when you're accident prone, nobody likes you." It cuts out the Ford Cortina part.
So they did a little bit of edit on that one. Or they just
cut. I think the cut almost helps the song because it like just kind of gives it that little kick.
This song, we were talking about how songs certain sound like Attention sounds like McCartney and Rack My Brain sounds like more George. This one really distinctly sounds like a Harry Nilsson song.
This seems like, I know Harry Nilsson was way past this time, but it almost sounds like his late 60s stuff with George Tipton almost, with that like brass band.
The brass band before he went to England and changed his, kind of became a
harder rock sound with Richard Perry, but
right
in that type of Baroque arrangement in points.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's like that those first couple early albums, Pandemonium, Shadow Show, like it has that kind of
all the stuff through to Nilsson Sings Newman.
Right, all that kind of bouncy,
pop.
Yeah, the bouncy type stuff. It's a throwback to Harry's earlier sound.
Yeah,
and Van Dyke Parks is on this. Yeah.
After the stuff with Richard Perry, did the covers record, the John Lennon. Then he was getting into like the party records, like this.
Yeah, Do It on Monday and stuff.
Man, that type of stuff. And then he
Yeah.
won really great last album with Knilson right there. That's a great record.
Which one?
Knilson.
Oh, Knilson, the white one,
Nice,
which was 70.
Great song. That's great right there.
Yeah.
There's
Such a
electric guitars on that whole album.
It's
a note of electric guitar.
Not a note of electric guitar on that. No, I haven't listened to that album yet.
A song or two, but it's basically all strings.
It's before we go to side 2, we'll just close out part 1 with this. It's funny to think that people like to equate Harry Nilsson and John Lennon as like the duo of the Buds, but that wasn't the case. Ringo was Harry's buddy. What's that?
It was Harry and Ringo. Like
it was Harry.
On Harry Nilsson reissues and stuff, it always says Ringo has like a big quote. I have the CD. It says like Harry Nilsson was my best friend and he had the greatest voice on planet Earth. I'm gonna get that CD since we have a
Harry was Ringo's guy, and that's evident. And if you've ever watched the, and I'm sure you have, and everybody should watch it, is the documentary. The documentary, Who is Harry Nilsson? Why is everybody's talking about him? Watch that. Yep.
Harry was a friend of mine, greatest voice on planet Earth. Sums it up right there. My CDs, man, they're all here.
They need to be. They need to be, man. Because you have such great taste. You have awesome taste, and you really do. And it's refreshing to see somebody who also dived in with Harry Nilsson as well, because the guy has such an underrated, vast majority of albums out there. And Ringo. Yeah, and Ringo knew it, man. And this is why you have your show, because you know what really went down. And Ringo, they were buds, and till the end. So I know John gets all the attention for being run with Harry, but Ringo was the one. And of course, Mickey Dolenz.
Time takes time, Harry. There's a little scrunchy photo on the internet of him, Harry, and Mark Hudson, and I think that's what Harry Nilsson pushed Ringo over the edge to do Mark Hudson, because Harry and Mark Hudson worked together in the 90s.
Oh, was that the connection?
Yeah, he kind of had a friend in Mark Hudson in the 90s, and then they kind of started working together.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'll catch you for part 2 of Stop and Smell the Roses.
Yes, indeed.